Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
me, Banshee. It's that time again.
It is
Time for the Unhappy
Unhappy
Hour, where we get to tell you what's wrong in your world and how to turn that, and in the world at large, and how to turn those frowns upside down.
Right. It's our special fourth quarter of the moon reading. We do once a month when the moon goes into the fourth quarter. And it's designed to kind of look at the things that could be bumming you
Yes.
out majorly, and then what you can do to repair that as you move on through that month until the next fourth quarter.
Like all my sneezing.
And we do this for the 4 elemental signs of the zodiac, plus we throw in one special one
For the world.
for the world.
Just what I kind of said.
I know.
Now you're making me unhappy, Mr. O. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Really, what's going on here is that my allergies are killing me, and expect more sneezes during the show, I think. Good grief. All right, so let's get on with it, shall we?
All right.
As I grab my cough drop, trusty cough drop. I seem to be hitting, okay, there we go. All right.
So we're going to start with the air signs.
As we often do, and that is
Gemini, Libra,
and
Aquarius.
This reading's for you for the week ahead. All right, or for the week ahead. Wow, I think I'm on my own show this morning. Good grief.
No comment.
Okay. So what is making the air signs unhappy?
Do I get to shuffle?
Oh, I thought we would go back and forth for this show.
Okay.
I thought we did. All right.
Card 1. What is or will be making the air signs unhappy right now?
It's strength. Strength is reversed. Of course.
Every card's going to be reversed.
That's right. So what this is saying is that what's making the air signs unhappy, well, is the fact that they have to maybe push on a little harder than they had hoped to achieve, something that they really desired in this time frame. It just seems as though they're working, they have to push extra hard. They thought maybe things would be a lot easier and smoother for them, but apparently no. They have to put in a lot of extra effort. They have to make sure their will determination is there and that they really persevere through whatever the challenges are that they face. But it's making them unhappy because they didn't expect maybe to have to do this.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's see how fast you are.
My take's a little different because I sort of feel that in addition to what Banshee said, what could be making you feel unhappy is that you see a part of yourself that maybe is a little bit snippy, a little bit ugly, a little bit impatient. Are you an air sign?
A rising sign.
Okay, whatever. That, doesn't want to necessarily apply compassion or understanding or reason, emotional intelligence to problems, and maybe it's making you unhappy that because you do actually recognize in yourself, you realize you're being a little bit more strident, in some of your dealings. So that's in addition, I think, to what Banshee said, of course.
All right. So how are we dealing or will be dealing with this unhappiness? Okay. It's the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords. And it's interesting. It's in a positive, in a sense, aspect when it's reversed. And I feel here that this is saying, considering what I said, you have to put in this extra effort and push things along further. Well, the Eight of Swords indicates that you are in a good mindset to do that. You are busting out of self-doubt and a lack of confidence. You maybe have what it takes to put in this extra oomph that you have to make this work. That's how you're dealing with it. You're not allowing it to close you in. You're allowing it to free you to be the strong, powerful person you are.
Well,
I like
maybe
it.
well, maybe with that realization that you of yourself that you don't enjoy seeing that about yourself is liberating too, to realize that you could say that it's just a facade you've put on and it's not really what you're normally like, and that would be truthful. And so the thing is you want to deal with this whole thing by expanding on that idea that you can free yourself from this behavior.
All right. Well, why are the air signs' feelings justified? The lovers reversed.
You had a bad day. No.
Well, in a way, I kind of feel your feelings are justified here because you realize you may have made some bad choices along the way here that set this up, that made things harder for yourself to accomplish your goals. You maybe made some bad moves, some bad choices, some bad decisions that caused this to turn out to be a lot harder than it should have been. So now maybe you realize that and you're willing to put out that effort. I feel that. Your feelings are justified.
Well, I'm going to look at that and say that maybe that's true, but maybe it also means it's not true too. That maybe, you've made mistakes, but you felt entitled to do them at the time, and so you realize you're just going to have to make things better somehow if you can. But I also believe that what she said is true too. It's like that with all these cards in a way.
Well, you just basically said what I said, so it's good. You do fall in line there. I like that.
How to return your frown upside down, air signs?
Seven of Swords.
Reversed.
They're all reversed.
Yes.
You are
You're
correct.
obscuring that when you do that.
Oh, they should be down more then. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I could leave our faces up by doing that, and then I
No,
just
they need to see our beautiful faces.
no. Let's turn that frown upside down.
Okay, well, here it is in a nutshell. I think here, how you turn that frown upside down is keep facing the truth that's revealed to you. I think here is kind of the realization, with these lovers, that you realize the role you had to play with how this is going, and accepting that truth is the way to freedom, is the way to turn that frown upside down. Just accept it, put in the extra work and effort you need to do to make things right, and you'll feel better. You'll feel a lot happier.
In some respects, I thought most of this reading was kind of lighter, that this wasn't the worst thing in the world to
No,
make the air signs or any sign feel
correct.
unhappy. So I do feel that resolution there at the end, the idea that, maybe there is a milder atonement of sorts here. And of course, we're sort of, for maybe Jewish people, in that season of Yom Kippur and atonement kind of stuff. But beyond that, the idea that maybe, you accept that realization, all those things we said, that you caused most of this yourself, but you also are able to realize what that is, and make better, do better, the sense of atonement, I said.
Well, I think it's an interesting read, and it is a little bit lighter. Maybe there's nothing major in your lives right now that's upsetting your world, a lot of you air signs. But, anytime you have to do more work to make up for whatever went wrong, that could be problematic. So you've got to put in a little extra effort. You have to push yourself a little harder to get things done, right? And what do you have to say? Pretty similar, or?
Pretty similar. I think I can let you carry the charge unless I feel strongly.
And over here again, I feel as though you're ready to move on this. You're ready. You have the confidence. The self-confidence is returning that you can turn this whole situation around. Hey, sometimes, when there's a cleanup on aisle 4, we got to clean up our own messes. And so I think you realize that you made some errors and blunders, and it made the process a little bit harder.
You understand your behavior and you're willing to rectify it.
And your feelings are justified here, because you made some bad choices, you made some bad moves, you made some bad decisions, and it set you back. It's not like end of the world kind of stuff here, I don't think, depending on what we're talking about. So some of this might have more weight for some people than others. And
Agree.
finally, I think that just this idea of accepting the truth of your role in why things now, are a little bit harder and you have to put out a little extra effort is what ultimately will set you free. And also accepting that truth only makes it easier for you to now work on correcting those errors.
Agree with that as well. All right, so that was it for the air signs, and we'll
Interesting.
move on to the fire. And fire signs are
Aries, Leo,
Leo.
Sagittarius.
Woohoo!
So wait a minute. I better get mini me here for my reading.
Indeed.
Yeah. Mini me likes the choice of tablecloth. Uh-oh.
Clean up.
Clean up your messes on aisle whatever.
Right.
All right.
So, fire signs, what is or will be making you unhappy right now?
It's temperance. Temperance
Reversed.
reversed, of course.
You don't want to control your behavior.
What?
And when other people try to rein you in, it makes you unhappy. You're in charge, not them. Well,
Come on now.
temperance doesn't speak about, your behavior per se, but it may talk about the idea that, some things really feel out of whack for you, out of balance, and it may totally be external. It may be that, it upsets the fact that you don't have that balance right now, but the reason is that life is pretty crazy right now.
Well, this might be a little bit more
Absolutely.
complicated than the other reading, but we'll see how this goes because I'm going to go two ways with this. The fire signs may be unhappy right now because there is this lack of balance, as Mr. O has suggested. Things just are throwing you off your game, and it can be external things that are doing this that you have no control over. And that makes it even more equally frustrating for fire signs. But on the other hand, I can also see this as a you problem. Maybe you've gotten off your diet. Maybe you've indulged in too much spending. Maybe you've done something to throw things in a lurch in your life and you have caused this imbalance. I think the other cards will tell the tale to this.
All right, so card 2. How are the fire signs dealing with this or will be dealing with this unhappiness?
Well, not very well. It's the Magician, another major arcana, and reversed, of course. So the Magician reversed indicates that it seems to me you're going to try to cover this up. You're trying to cover it up, your failings here or whatever has happened to you from external sources. You're in kind of a denial. Sometimes the Magician reversed speaks about somebody who's trying to use trickery so people don't see the reality of what's really going on with them or their lives. So that's what I'm kind of picking up here when I'm looking at these two together in this reading.
Right, you took the words out of my mouth. There is a sense of fooling yourself, like the old song, you are fooling yourself, or you are trying to. And so some of that is hugely about denial. But the other part of that could be for some fire signs, or at times there could be the need to actually be chaotic a little bit in an attempt to maybe rationalize, us them behaviors or inequalities or things like that. I think it's more likely the other you're fooling yourself.
Well, the other part about this is I feel that you don't have the will, the drive to turn this around. That's how you're dealing with it right now. So, in other words, that's why fakery and trying to deny it or push it away so that people don't see the truth of the matter is what's going on here. Yeah.
All right, card 3.
Why are the fire signs feelings justified? It's the King of Wands. The King of Wands is reversed. Well, interestingly enough, I think the fire signs are angry. They're not dealing with it well. And also, they're kind of pulling back from other people because, well, their feelings are justified. Why are their feelings justified? Because maybe uh, they feel uncomfortable now around other people because number one, they're trying to cover up whatever's wrong here and they don't want people to see the reality of the situation for themselves.
Well, I was going to actually say that maybe the fire signs feel they have already been called out because maybe others have possibly noticed
I like
this
that.
change in them. But if it hasn't happened, then yes, I agree with you that, that could be true too.
I like that. That's very possible here. So
I think it combines because then it is that sense of wanting to pull back and not be,
right.
more seen in the spotlight.
I agree. How can you turn that frown upside down, fire signs? How can we do it? Well, it's judgment reversed, and that's also interesting to me because I think it's indicating here that you need to be less hard on yourself and maybe um, less worried about what others think of you, and how other people are judging you. That's how you can turn it upside down is you have to, stop being so hard on yourself and also taking to heart the way other people might take what happened here. I mean, we all have bad moments where we fail at something. We fail, we fail to get the balance in our lives. We may indulge too much in one thing or another. So why are you going to let other people who may have the same failings judge you?
Right. If any of this was or came into the province of somebody else judging you for it or you feeling that happen, you may have to actually live with that sense of, nobody believes you or that there is a sense of fairness did not prevail. That may be the takeaway for me from that card, saying that you may have to accept that there was some injustice here, that you weren't able to totally turn the frown upside down to your requirements and you had to accept this instead.
Yeah, so let's recap this. I think it's time. And I do feel that this is more an imbalance within you, fire signs. It's not coming so much from external forces other than you're fearing the reactions they have. But as far as the imbalance goes, that's on you. Okay? Let's not deny it. Right here, Temperance says things are out of balance in your life. You've either been spending too much, you've been overindulging in food, drink, drugs, etc. You've allowed your life to get out of a balance, and that's making you feel, unhappy.
And I guess I could come along to that, but I do feel that maybe the fire signs felt too judged by others. I think we
Well,
saw it in
that's
the later
coming
cards.
later. Yeah.
But that's maybe what also fired up the unhappiness.
Well, I really think it's maybe because somebody noticed it and they're upset because that's a magician. I feel here with how are we dealing with it? We feel like we've been exposed, okay? And we're trying to cover it up.
Somebody learned our tricks.
We're trying to cover our tracks, whatever the case may be. Maybe hiding packages if you've been ordering too much online, maybe, or food containers if you've been overindulging, or alcohol, hiding in a basement or, drinking somewhere else so nobody can see you. You're trying sleight of hand to cover it up rather than deal with it.
And at the very heart of it, the magician reverse would look to be about, misplaced or bad ego problems. And so you're sort of feeling like, why should I let this bother me? But it really does. And you can't kind of figure it out.
And you just don't have the will and determination to change that, possibly because you haven't hit bottom, especially if this is some type of addiction, whether it's gambling or otherwise. So when we go to why are the feelings justified? because you are withdrawing. You're trying to pull back because you know how other people are looking at you right now. And you're starting, and maybe some of this is up here. Maybe it's more up here that you're worried about what other people are thinking about you. And I feel here you're pulling back and withdrawing.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
because I could see that a reversed King of Wands is somebody who is overly self-conscious.
And right there, how do you turn that frown upside down? By being less hypercritical with yourself. Give yourself a chance to try to turn your life around. Don't feel like, you have to cover it up and keep going down this path. You do not. And don't feel bad when you make missteps either. That's going to happen. And don't worry about what other people think. You do the best you can for yourself.
You don't have to like everything, but you may have to accept some things. And that's what that card means to me.
So good luck with that, fire
All right.
signs.
So that was our fire sign friends.
Me. Let's go to Mr. O in the water signs, and they are Cancer,
Pisces,
Scorpio.
Ooh, and we did not do them in order. That was my fault. But
that was your fault. I left Scorpio for you, and you dropped the ball, Mr. Scorpio.
I put the O in Scorpio.
I think he puts a 0 there.
That's why you love me. I whisper sweet nothings in her ear. 0.
All right, Mr. 0. That's why he's Mr. O.
All right, so what is, or will be making the water signs unhappy right now?
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no. We're in trouble.
It's the 2 of Cups reversed, and maybe the water signs feel they're not harmonious.
You're not getting the love from their partner?
They don't feel harmony. They don't feel it. Well, that could be that, but to me, this card involves more. It talks about, other parts of relationships, not just, the lovey stuff, but maybe the sense of trust or harmony. So maybe water signs are feeling that their main relationships just really, they're falling apart, or they have disharmony at this time. It makes them unhappy.
I think here that what's making, it looks to me, since what is or will be, it's possible it hasn't happened yet, but some of you might have already experienced a breakup, or some difficulties, some real struggles and arguments in relationships, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends, whether it's with coworkers and colleagues, whether it's with a business partner. So we'll see how the cards go with this to maybe see if we can peg it down. But there is a disharmony and a disunity going on, and it makes it hard to be together or to work together. It's possible a separation may be in order or may have already taken place.
Ouch.
Ouch is right.
Card 2.
Card 2 is, how are or will the water signs be dealing with the situation? It's the moon. The moon is reversed, of course. So they're dealing with the situation by trying to seek the truth, trying to find answers, and trusting their intuition to guide them. This is a time to really look deeply at whatever issues has been dividing, them from whoever this is they're separating from, and really to dive deep on this. So I give them credit for that.
Well, the water signs are generally all pretty intuitive, or can be, and the moon itself is a sign for both intuition and maybe watery aspects or realms. So when I see the moon reversed, and I'll just feel that it's a lot of what Banshee says, but I think it's also too maybe a sense of trying to understand what our inner emotions are really like too, and that maybe this is a very complicated time. And so in addition to trying to figure it out on the intuitive level, we may be trying to figure it out on the feeling level, how it affects us. We may be trying to figure out if we need shadow work or some sort of other kind of meditations or work with our heart chakra.
Nice. All right. So, why are our feelings justified, water signs? It's another two card. It's the Two of Swords reversed. Wow. I kind of feel here that your feelings are justified. Well, possibly because you made the move to separate. I think maybe that's it here. What do you think?
I'm not sure if it's the water signs per se, but your feelings are justified because you do realize, not every water sign, but or to the same degree, but that certain relationships you just have to move beyond. You have to change them or break them, or they are broken. You may be the person doing that, like Banshee believes, but I also believe it's possible you just have that realization
that somebody decided to abandon you,
that you're moving on because you don't want to stay unhappy.
Well, how do we turn that frown upside down, really, though? Yeah, sounds like divorce. It's the Hierophant.
Oh my.
Reversed, doesn't it?
I guess this would be a good time to tell you something.
You have that side chick.
That's right.
Now you'll have to show a picture of it on screen so they get the joke.
Yes, I'll have to, yeah.
But we're kidding. We're kidding. We're not going anywhere. But the thing is that some of the water signs may be. There could be a divorce, a separation, or the only way you can turn this frown upside down is taking an unorthodox, and if you want to resurrect it, possibly, is to take a totally unorthodox approach to solving this problem, totally outside the box. It's no longer business as usual because that is not working. So it's up to you, but if you want to leave it, it definitely looks like it could be a time to sever those ties.
There's a huge quality of maybe spiritual kinds of interactions here. Yeah. So this could be saying too that maybe this is a time for you to look at non-conventional or non-traditional spiritual modalities to either help you deal with the actual breakup going on, or as that final, attempt at maybe trying to figure out if there is a common ground for you, the relationship or the situation.
Wow. So I don't know. We can sum this up really quickly, I think, by just saying some relationships going kaplooey. And you know the drill. It could be any type of relationship in your life, not necessarily romantic, but it could be. And then there's revelations here coming as to how you're dealing with the situation. You're trying to get to the heart of the matter. Maybe it's because of some of the things that you've already gotten to the heart of the matter on that, this has happened. So, are your feelings justified? Yes, they are, because there's been moves made, whether by you or by somebody else, to sever or separate these ties for a while. One way or the other. It's either permanent or, temporary. And the only way you're going to turn this around is either by deciding, well, maybe it's time to let this go, and there's divorce or broken partnerships of some sort, moving away from family, etc., or finding a radical, out of the box way of turning the situation around. Did I do that okay?
I think you did that pretty
all right.
So that was our water signs.
We're on Earth. And you shuffle, because I get the world.
Earth signs are Taurus,
Virgo,
and
Capricorn. Sorry. I don't know why I do that.
I don't either. But we both have a bit of Capricorn in our charts.
We do. So I do it with love. Capricorn. We're silly here. We're sorry.
We're silly everywhere.
We're silly everywhere. Let's see what's going on.
The problem is I don't have enough of a table.
I know. It's just not very convenient, is it?
Well, I'm not even over that way. I'm over here. I should just screw this back.
Well, you can't. You can't use any of this?
I'd have to get way over. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I see the camera shaking, so yeah, I get it.
But it's just too far for me to lean over.
I get it. It's all right.
And less table space here.
Sure, we'll figure out a new method.
Of course, we always do.
We do. We change up a lot. And some things stay the same.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
All right.
Indeed. Earth signs, card 1. What is or will be making you unhappy right now?
Well, it's the Page of Wands reversed.
All right.
So what's making the earth signs unhappy is maybe some bad business news has come in. Now, maybe if you are in business for yourself, for example, your profits are down. Some bad news is coming. If you're a job seeker right now, gosh, it must be very frustrating because, the job market is very, very tight right now. There's something that you were hoping to initiate or start that unfortunately is going to be delayed or not come through for you.
Well, I hate to stereotype, but earth signs probably are the most fiscally responsible and focused of the signs in most ways. And so the idea may be that, the government shutdown and or other aspects of the economy are really affecting you and really making you unhappy right now. Maybe you've lost your job or a source of income. Maybe all kinds of things could happen. Opportunities just are not right there for you. It's making you very unhappy.
So, how are you dealing or will be dealing with this unhappiness? Well, it's the Hanged Man reversed. Uh, I almost feel as though I could go a couple ways here
I
with
get mixed vibes myself.
I get mixed vibes, but I think what I want to say is that you feel stuck right now. You're not dealing with this well because you're not sure where to go from here. Should you hold out that maybe something will come through for you eventually, that things are going to turn around? Or, should you move on? You feel like you're stuck right now. You don't want to come down off that tree because you really haven't decided, on a proper course of action.
I think that more than not, earth signs have decided everything is Shiite and that it's not about
No.
coming down. It's about really them, feeling like they have to accept what is and that they're going to deal with it, the ways that they wish. There may be no specific way. Some folks may decide to overindulge where they can. Some may just feel they have to try to figure out how to do better. So maybe if they're young enough, they might try to move back home or live in collectives or things like that where they can pool resources or otherwise,
Sounds kind of stagnatory.
it isn't
Like they're stuck. Okay, card 3. Why are the earth signs' feelings justified? Oh, it's the Six of Cups reversed. Because they want things to be the way they were. Maybe, you know, they want things to. They're living in the past. They're living in the past. They're feeling as though, and maybe they approach this whole thing that way, which isn't working in the reality we're facing today. Nothing is the same as it was, Even if people think, yeah, we want to go back to the 50s, 40s, 30s, way back, it's not going there either. It's just, I think most of the stuff that's going on in the world right now is pretty unprecedented.
Because it's cups, I think there's that emotional tinge to it. They mostly want to go back to where earth signs may feel their personal best times or happiest times. So it may not be specifically an era of time so much as an era of time where they felt the happiest.
You mean a personal era of time.
10 years ago for some earth signs.
All right, so how do we turn this frown upside down for the earth signs? Whoa. Well, it's the Nine of Wands reversed. I think
it's kind of like what I said earlier. Some people will just say they have to forget everything and just do what they can. It sort of is a sense of resignation. It doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities or situations that earth signs will be able to move into, but I think it is coming to grips with the idea that maybe whatever has affected them financially or whatever makes them unhappy is not going to change quickly. So to me, I do feel it's this overarching economy for the earth signs and how they feel about it. But it's a matter of accepting it and just figuring out where their best recourse or retreat lies.
Well, that was a mouthful.
It certainly was. And I deserved it. And by the way,
Earth signs. Failure is an option, okay? It's okay to fail. We hopefully learn from that. And so the thing is, you may have to let this go. No sense in holding on and just staying put, waiting for something to change. It's time to admit defeat, accept your losses, learn from your losses, and move on. And also accept the fact that what's worked for you in the past is not going to work for you going forward. And go forward now, I think, is what the message is here. Move on.
it really has the sense of very bad economic troubles right now that are either because of the current situation or some personal situations, a personal divorce, a personal business financial failure, maybe somebody who actually did expect an inheritance and found out there was no money at all to give. These things could affect and make us very unhappy. You have no choice but to try, sadly, to figure out how you can go on.
I don't see any pentacles here, but the thing is that there is a financial component. I feel it's more either a personal project or goal that's failed, or a job, a quest for a job. Maybe you really have your heart set on a particular company or situation, maybe even an educational path, and it's not working out for you. It's just bad news, and it's time for you to just stop standing still and waiting for this to turn around, thinking that what you've been doing is going to make the difference when you've made no changes. So it's time to admit defeat. It's time to admit defeat and move on.
All right.
That's it. Well, guess what time it is? Good luck with that, Earth signs. Now we've got the world to contend with. And maybe we should both shuffle.
Yeah, there's a lot of world out there, and we're just kind of honing in on maybe a general sense of what collectively bums most of the world out at this time. There could be a lot of parts of the world where maybe none of this really applies, but in a general kind of gestaltish way, this is an overall tone or feel that our cards are going to try to show us and how to deal with it.
I hope, that it's sort of like our first reading, that it's not that big a deal right now. But
a lot has happened.
There's a lot that's happened.
And promises to keep happening.
Well, there's peace in the Middle East.
Yes.
Supposedly. Ah.
All right, world, you're up.
So what in the world can be making the world unhappy right now? It's the King of Wands. It's the King of Wands reversed. What a surprise.
It's not so much a loss of agency, although all the kings have a certain sense of agency, but it may be a loss of being seen in the light that they want to be seen in, and that may be too many, parts of the world people don't feel they're shining the way they want to. Maybe they feel it's external factors limiting them. Maybe they're also feeling that they need to be more brave and noble and confident.
Who's they? The world?
The world,
Okay.
the parts of the world.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to, do a collective reading like this, but maybe more parts of the world feel like they need to not be too cowardly about certain things.
Bam! God, you got to that last line, and that last line is pivotal.
Was I holding back?
Pivotal and key here, seriously, because what's going on and what's making the world unhappy is the lack of courage and the lack of intestinal fortitude necessary to make positive changes that could turn the trajectory of the way things are going around. Everybody is waiting for a savior, no matter where you are. Who's going to help Gazans? Who's going to help, how are we going to do this? Everybody is looking for the savior because we lack the inner courage and resolve to stand together. Because if everybody stood together firmly and with courage, we would be a force to be reckoned with.
So this stance makes a lot of us in the world feel unhappy that just nothing's going to really get better.
Nothing's going to get really better, but you know what? We're abdicating, as he put in with one line there, our agency here. We're advocating to others who we hope will do what we need to play a role in. We need to play a role in the change we want to see. All right. How are we dealing with this unhappiness? Right here. Look at that. It's the Six of Swords reversed. And so what is this saying? This is saying we are unwilling to move ourselves to be part of this process of getting ourselves out of this situation we find ourselves in. Whether it's the climate crisis, whether it's all the wars going on, whether it's bad leadership like's going on in some major countries right now, including our own.
We know that maybe there could be a way out of our troubles, but for some reason we'd rather just sort of simmer in that sauce. We're not willing to really move ourselves, and maybe we feel because of the card one that we're unable to come together as a people.
Wow. So why are these feelings justified? I think all of that pretty much says it. Oh, and I get the world card. And the world card is reversed. How ironic that. What the Hades, Mr. O? Or what the world? What in the world?
What a world, what a world. Well, the world reversed. Are our feelings justified? Maybe a lot of us really thought that by 2025 things would be more perfect, maybe more unified, and we don't see that. And so we're really sad, but maybe even bordering on angers of various sorts because we don't feel we've completed the mission, whatever that mission was for each of us.
We feel incomplete. We feel lacking something in our lives right now that maybe we hoped would complete us. And I feel here that the world, I can't help but feel if some of this isn't about climate in a way, because it is the world here, and just feeling that the world is suffering right now and, on the verge of collapse as opposed to, expansion. And, it's kind of worrisome. But I also feel, again, if this is related to us beings in the world, that we just feel we are lacking something to feel whole. We're, and especially if you're in war-torn areas and looking for where you're going to get your next meal or how you're going to survive during a wartime, or if you're in areas where, what's going on in the U.S. right now, which I'm not going to get into totally, and you're one of the people, though, that are getting targeted for removal from this country or imprisonment for your views or losing your jobs for what you feel, you're feeling seriously like you're in trouble here.
And I liked what you said halfway through about the climate, because I thought if there was really one issue that maybe makes the collective of the world unhappy, it could be that. It could be the fact that, the other one would be inequities, I suppose, the fact that there's such inequity in the world. But climate really is going to affect all of us.
Right now, a good portion of the U.S. is in drought. Serious drought, and we're part of it now to our state. And so it could be the weather, all these storms in various places near the shores, the nor'easters on the east coast, and I think Alaska just had a major storm as well. This is affecting large amounts of people. So how do we turn this frown upside down, whatever it is? Whoa, and it's the Queen of Swords reversed.
Oh,
I can say one thing here, and it's very short, but I will expound on it. I think I'll let Mr. O go. How can we turn this frown upside down? By by deciding to do so instead of sitting back confused and letting it and afraid of our own shadows here and letting it happen.
the Queen of Swords reversed is typically somebody who has to make a harsh decision or a harsh judgment, but she knows it's the right decision and she is willing to take the scorn or derision of others for having to do that. So it's sort of like justice is a bitch.
Well, so the Queen of Swords is reversed, and so what that means is basically we have to get around to being willing to make those hard decisions and choices. I feel here with her voice reversed, she's still a little bit trepidatious about making that decision, whereas she should be willing to administer some tough love here, right?
And that's the point, though, is that, hard, harsh decisions have to be made
It's
for
interesting.
any of these concerns.
So we have the King of Wands here reversed, and we have the Queen of Swords here reversed at the end. So basically, where does it, what is making us unhappy is the lack of courage in people to stand up. And everybody's pointing their fingers at other people. Like, for example, we'll just use America as the thing. Why aren't the Democrats stepping up and protecting us from all these cuts? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Why are the Republicans not releasing the Epstein files like they said? Maybe some of the Republicans are asking themselves. Well, who's going to have the courage to make it happen, though? You keep looking for other people to do it for you, but somehow we all got to stand together and make it happen. Whether it's through our votes, whether it's through other means, we need to make it happen. And this Queen of Swords, at the end, how do you turn that frown upside down? Is saying, decide to do it. Decide to do it already, or things ain't going to change.
Pull up the big boy and girl panties and do it.
Yeah. So I don't know if we need to recap this. Clearly, if I do, I'll just say, clearly things are going nowhere right now, and that's how we're dealing with the situation. Everything just keeps unfolding in negative ways, and we keep accepting it instead of trying to move on to a better life.
Right. You can have your feelings be justified, by feeling like it'll never get better. But that's the point, is it won't, because you won't. We won't.
And the world reversed here with why our feelings are justified is we do feel the world is upside down right now. I'd just go with what the card looks like too and say that. We feel like things are upside down. We feel like we're incomplete, we're missing and lacking important things we need in our life. Hey, say like healthcare. say like special education and needs for students with disabilities, with that need special treatment. And so there's all of that. People who need care in nursing homes and stuff now have to worry. So that's just US, and I am sure worldwide the pinch is pretty real going on there as well. So
that's it. That's
it.
In a nutshell, that's pretty clear, and you can apply that to most of the problems of the world, whether they're war or financial or the weather climate situation, inequities in general.
So till we meet again next time, take care, try to work on your issues as best you can, and try to stay happy. Turn those frowns upside down and create a better life for yourself. Bye-bye for now.